Hey guys, I'm learning TFT and I'm sharing my learnings with you so that you can learn and I can learn more effectively as well. In this video, I'm going to share with you a coaching session with Aesah where we dive into a 6 BoomBot Vex game. And I'm going to start off by giving a high level overview of 6 BoomBot, why it's strong, then go into the meta mindset of the day, which is keep an open mind. And then I will transition that into the coaching session with Aesah. So if you want to jump around, I'll have timestamps in the description below. So 6 BoomBot requires a BoomBot +1. In this case, I have a Golem that gives me +1. And usually the level 9 board, this is more of a fast 9 comp because you really do need to hit Urgot and the board fits really nicely with 4 Bruiser at level 9. You can also swap out Gragas and Mordekaiser for a Garen and a Zac. Garen is especially good because then you could put BoomBot mods on your units and throw in like Bruiser mods as well. So it's just really effective at scaling a ton of damage. At 6 BoomBot, you get an insane amount of damage. It's fires 2 missiles, each dealing 275 damage. So that's basically more than 100% damage amp because for every 400 damage dealt, you are dealing you're dealing 550 damage. And so that's why you actually want to have some form of shred. So like whether that's a spark or a static shiv is extremely helpful. And I've even seen a Zac 2 where you get a Zac 2 with a ton of HP. I think Y1 had this with like 3 Warmogs and then put a BoomBot mod here with Garen. This is a case where you swap those two out. And then this Zac was actually the top damage dealer more than Vex and Urgot with a BoomBot mod because the damage scales, 8% damage taken contributes to damage dealt, right? So this comp is very flexible, but because you do need to get to level 9, this is more of a play from ahead when you're win streaking angle. And so that's the angle I had in this game. This was from the sub-regional tournament from this last weekend. It was day 3, game 1, I believe, that I had. And one of the key ideas here that was a big aha moment for me was that in this specific scenario here, I had hard focused on playing BoomBot, basically 6 BoomBot. I had already slammed Vex items, Blue Buff, Guardbreaker, and I would ask you to think about whether there's actually a different angle that you might consider here. And this is something that we dive into in the coaching session itself, specifically because there is one other player contesting me on 6 BoomBot, and they already hit a Cho 2 and a Vex 2. And right here, I actually have a great spot to pivot into another comp that's actually not 6 BoomBot. And I'll leave that to you to think about. And if you want to figure out where we actually go with that, take a look at the coaching session that will come shortly, or you could jump ahead to the coaching session. So the meta mindset of the day, this is a section where I talk about TFT psychology that can be useful to help you get better at TFT, but also is useful as using TFT as a metaphor for life that can help you improve your life as well. So today's meta mindset is keep an open mind. And Shunryu Suzuki said, if your mind is empty, it is always ready for anything. It is open to everything. And one of the traps I fell into in this specific spot is because I was so tunnel visioned on 6 BoomBot, I did not at the time consider this alternate line that likely would have had a higher AVP for this game. Henry George said, we should be ready to change our views at any time and slough off prejudices and live with an open and receptive mind. A sailor who sets the same sails all the time without making changes when the wind changes will never reach his harbor. So the idea of a sailor, and you can think of TFT as you're kind of going with the flow, right, of the wind and depending on what gets thrown your way, you want to be open and flexible, ready for anything, right? As opposed to having a very fixed view on where you should be going, your prejudices, which limit the receptivity and openness of your mind. Lao Tzu said, "Water is fluid, soft, and yielding, but water will wear away rock, which is rigid and cannot yield. As a rule, whatever is fluid, soft, and yielding will overcome whatever is rigid and hard. This is another paradox. What is soft is strong." And so this metaphor of water, in my case here, I was being very rigid, right? Fixed. I had committed to a path, 6 BoomBot, and I was not keeping an open mind to what the alternate possible lines were, especially when I scouted and found that one of the other opponents in this lobby had already hit the BoomBot units. And so when we can be fluid, soft, and yielding to what comes our way, that is actually, the softness and flexibility is actually stronger. Lin Yu Tang said, "A good traveler is one who does not know where he is going to, and a perfect traveler does not know where he came from." So using this idea of a traveler, we started at the start of the game with the BoomBot emblem, and ideally, I can look at this state in the game with fresh eyes, especially when new information got presented that someone was contesting me and furthermore hit their units. That should allow me to then have kind of a fresh perspective, especially if I didn't know where I came from or where I am going. That allows my mind to open to the possibilities and options more. In the book Synchronicity, the author said, "When we are in this state of being where we are, open to life and all its possibilities, willing to take the next step as it is presented to us, then we meet the most remarkable people who are important contributors to our life." And so this same idea can be extended not just to the people we meet in our life, but in TFT, the lines that we could possibly consider and take. But more broadly, when we apply these ideas to our lives, it's that if we have a fixed idea of, let's say, the career that we are choosing or the kind of partner that we want to attract, or whether it's TFT or the friends that we maybe have met or have yet to meet, we limit our options and possibilities when we have a very fixed, narrow perspective of how our lives should go. But the more we open our minds, the more we flow like water, the more we adjust course based off of what comes our way and being open and receptive to it, you would be surprised by where life can take you when you open your mind to more possibilities in this way. And definitely in this game, that was certainly true. And I know that more recently, modern TFT there's a lot of talk about committing as early as possible. And while that is generally useful, there is no hard global universal rule in TFT, which is why this is such a complex game, and why when top challenger players are giving advice, there's always this question of like, well, what's the context? What's your spot, right? And if you're always trying to say, well, for sure, I'm going to commit down this line, but then let's say you have that in your head, but then you're contested 3 or 4 ways, for you to keep committing down that path is basically guaranteeing you an 8th place, right? And so at the very least, keeping that open mind and opening yourself to possibilities that you may not have considered, that openness can unlock doors for you in your life and can unlock different paths and lines for you in TFT that can help you take your game to the next level and take your life to the next level. So I hope you found this meta mindset, keep an open mind, helpful. With that said, I appreciate you watching through to this point in the video. I would love to hear your thoughts, comments, questions about the meta mindset, about the game in the comments below. And with that said, I hope you appreciate and I hope you enjoy this coaching session with Aesah. So I'm
Yeah.
already thinking this is basically Vex slash BoomBot.
Yeah, I mean, anytime you can use two emblems, that's really nice. BoomBot in particular is one of the really nice emblems to have because the spike from 5 to 6 is really big.
Yeah. So
Um,
we saw that there was one other player that also had BoomBot Executioner.
yeah, yeah.
Um, Out of these middle, oops.
I think it's for sure not Caretaker's Ally since you can get a unit that's not related to your dummy at all.
Oh,
Too risky. Yeah, I think middle is good. Yeah, this looks good. Make sure your dummy dies. Your board's pretty strong. I'm a little bit worried your dummy is not going to die here.
yeah.
Yeah, like obviously you fought a strong player, so it's fine. But if you fought like a level 3, pretty high chance it doesn't die here. I would be worried it's still not going to die because if you fight level 3 on the left side, it's not going to
Oh,
die. So
okay.
I would,
Solo
yeah,
frontline.
yeah. Like, yeah, once again, this worked out, but um, yeah. I also think holding the Morgana pair is less valuable than the other thing. I think when you make the last Whisper, you don't care as much about potential. I mean, I know it's a unit that potentially goes on the final board on Vex,
Uh-huh.
but I think Stats pair is more valuable because you are streaking. It could go on your board right now.
Okay.
I didn't see that fight, but it looked like your dummy like barely died.
Yeah. So I've opened Vest and I want to try to streak, so I assume something like Sunfire would make sense.
Yeah, definitely fine. You notice that that guy was delayed start on left side, so like 4 2-star units and still barely killed your dummy. So if
Yeah.
someone's like 4 1-star units, it's just not gonna
Okay.
it's not gonna proc. I think Bruiser for sure needs to be on the board. It's better than Rost.
Okay.
You do have a lot of Divine Core units, but it basically makes your Rost 40% better on the rest of your team. It makes it, of course, like 100% better on your Divine Core units, but I think just Bruiser is more overall value.
Mhm.
It's pretty much the same, honestly. It's not like a huge difference or anything. It's crazy how many Kog'Maw you've seen, by the way.
Yeah.
Here I like Draven over Kindred. Just small things, but
And then
might make the difference between winning or losing.
sell
Um,
Senna.
yeah, I don't think you need like Senna that much, and because like you can just play Ross as your next in, so you don't really need Senna until like level 7, and you don't really even need her then, because by then you'll probably have like 4 BoomBot potential, or it's just something different.
I was also thinking Senna, like if I could hit a Senna 2 at some point would be really good. Um, but just more worth it to make sure guarantee I can preserve streak, I guess.
Wait, sorry, say that one more time.
Like if I held Senna, then I have the potential out of hitting a Senna at 2. Like,
Yeah, that's true. Senna is more likely to like fit on your board than Draven, but you could also do the same thing with Draven as well, because you might play
oh
like
yeah, that's
I
true.
guess he's not as valuable, but Senna definitely fits your board better.
Yeah. By the way, are you okay with these item slams?
This
Oh,
is pretty interesting. Um, this is kind of interesting because like you're kind of playing towards the executioner and the boombot at the same time,
Yeah.
but you can really only commit your board units to amplify one of them. So I think it's probably I think it's probably fine, yeah. Just for like tempo, you're full streaking, you want to be like strong board right now. I think I might not go blue, but blue is like the best Vex item, and I mean you are good in a good spot to play Vex on your board.
Okay. At this point, I feel like I probably just want gold ideally. Because
Um,
for me to cap out this board, if assuming I'm trying to play 6 boom, I need forgot. Which
yeah,
ideally I
because you're
can fast
streaking
9.
though, combat kind of translates into
Oh
gold
yeah, that's
because
true.
if you win, like let's say you lost, I mean like let's say worst case scenario, like most extreme scenario, hypothetically, you lose this round and win every other round of the entire stage.
Mhm.
That would lose you 4 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3. That would lose you like 16 gold if you lost this round, but you won every other round
Okay.
from
Yeah,
streak.
you put it that
So
way.
combat like kind of it also makes you like less pressure because like if you have combat, you have more HP. Maybe you can like comfortably level on 5-2
Mhm.
and save gold that way compared to like 5-1, for example.
Okay. So then with that mindset, healing ward probably over mentorship, given that Boombot has a lot of damage. And mentorship, I feel like with Urgot as my
Yeah,
cap, like doesn't really benefit.
yeah, I would. I think yeah, healing orbs. I'm not sure honestly. I think healing orbs. I think I would just take healing orbs. Actually really hate these. I actually really hate these positioning augments. I think it's like a big. It's a big like mental tax that a lot of people like underestimate.
Yeah, I agree. Like bulky buddies, I always lose value and get messed up on.
Walkie Buddies is like really overpowered, but I hate taking it for the same reason. But I mean, I take it frequently just because like it's extremely overpowered. I think Riot balances on data a lot, and I think a lot of players literally take it and don't use it like a single time.
Yeah.
So it's like just really overtuned.
Okay. I have open rod with some fire. So I'm thinking ideally if I want to preserve tempo, it's just like a tank item. I guess I could make Rage Blade and move one of the Kog'Maw items off, but from a like just
Yeah, I mean,
multiplicative effect.
yeah, you could go Gunblade since you already have the blue buff. Like you're kind of playing towards best of that.
Yeah.
It's gone. I mean, I think Death Cap is probably fine for the same reason. Like you already have the blue buff.
Yeah.
It's also a little bit more gold.
I was thinking I want to save the rod for Gunblade, although I don't know how important Gunblade is for this comp with like with the Exotech, like I know I want Gunblade, but I don't actually know with this comp like whether Gunblade is needed.
Well, it'd be the same concept because there's nothing particularly about the other comp. I mean, I guess you have Bastion that like makes it a tiny bit more valuable, but nothing like inherently makes it like way better in that board.
Okay.
This is interesting.
And tell whether to reforge it or not because I have LW.
I
Or
I would
reforge
consider just
LW.
like reforging the last whisper eventually, but not this round since it's one of your Kog'Maw items. You can
Okay.
also reforge an extra component next round as well.
Yeah. In hindsight, that makes more sense because this is gonna be hybrid damage with Vex and Urgot anyway. So
Yeah. Well, Boombot is also magic, which is really important. So
right.
I
Okay.
think I would definitely not reforge Cleaver for sure.
Okay.
Because you're
Well,
doing hybrid. You're already building towards hybrid damage. So
okay.
if anything, the moment you made the blue buff, I was already thinking when you made the blue buff, I was already thinking there's a potential like I like it a little bit more because you have a forger for the last whisper potentially if you end up going like full AP.
I see.
Oh, sad. Close loss.
Okay, so here,
I mean, this is a really crazy of so many items.
yeah. I just want to make full 2 more tank items. Uh, I'm missing. Actually, I have all my utility covered.
Yeah. Since you have 3 reforgers, I actually think reforging Blastosphere and Sunfire is really good here because you have 3. And going AoE anti-heal. Sunfire just like falls off a lot starting in stage 4.
Yeah, that did not cross my mind. Reforge, fire. So then you would just make Morello and then
Yes.
declaw.
Well, yeah, you kind of want Gunblade though if you're playing towards Vex. Maybe not. Maybe just keep Sunfire. It's fine. I do think reforging Last Whisper and probably like a cloak is kind of good, just because like you still have a cloak left. I guess you could go declaw, especially if it's heavy AP lobby.
Yeah, I think usually lately it is mostly AP, right? I guess I didn't. I forget
Fair.
off the top of my head, but I had been
Yeah,
scouting.
that's fair.
Uh,
Yeah, I think declaw is probably good.
I don't know why I took Rat Rod here.
I mean, this is just like a kind of a tricky spot because you have 2 anvils, 3 reforgers, so you have so many options. Ideally, I think you reforge the last whisper with like your weakest component before you pop the anvil,
Yeah.
but it's just like it's really tricky.
Okay. Yeah, I probably should reforge the rod with LW. Oh wait, no, I needed a
Probably
gunblade.
glove, I guess. Then
Okay.
I mean, it could be any of them. Honestly, like you
Glove
don't
would
really
be
need
good for
belt that
Urgot,
much.
right? Like glove. I guess just another guard breaker for Urgot could be good. Guard breaker
Yeah,
for Urgot and guard breaker for Vex.
yeah. I guess you don't have to reforge any of these, but I guess I think like before you pop the anvil and take chain, like if you reforge, there's literally not like a single component like you're unhappy with, so
Yeah.
you can only get like upgrades for the most part.
Okay.
Because like you're fine if you get tier, chain, cloak, belt, and then obviously like the other ones you're even happier with.
Yeah. Um.
Idol Collector was nerfed, but I think you have so many items this game for whatever reason.
Oh yeah.
So I think it's really good here.
And the dummy counts as items.
It I don't think it counts the golems items, but you do have a support item and that counts.
Oh right. Okay. I was also thinking that Pandora's could be good to roll for Urgot 5 costs.
Uh yeah, it's not bad. It's kind of interesting. I hadn't thought about it too much. It could be okay.
Especially since I'm healthy. Like I should have
Yeah,
enough
honestly, it
time.
could be okay. I don't mind it. I don't think I would have seen it, but I think it's all right. Yeah, especially because like you want to roll a lot on 8, so you're really far from 9. Yeah, not just roll every 5 cost for Urgot. Yeah, I think like the my biggest disagreement with this game so far is just the blue buff because it's like you're playing towards Vex, but because you're trying to play towards 6 BoomBot, your Vex is actually gonna be like a really low percentage of your damage. Like
Hmm.
3 on Vex might not even be as much damage like 3 on Fiddle with 6 BoomBots.
Right. Even just assuming Fiddle 2.
Like Fiddle 2, yeah.
Okay.
I mean Fiddle 3 of course is
Yeah.
like the one of the strongest units in the game. But you're just investing so many of your overall resources into BoomBot that like splitting resources and putting on Vex is like kind of low value.
Hmm. Oh, by the way, right where right here, is there an angle that I should consider Divinicore Z?
I think
Because I
Garen
have the
is just
Garen.
really strong in this. Garen is just really strong with BoomBot and Divancore both. But I think rolling for Urgot is also pretty valuable. Honestly, I think putting the Garen on your board is pretty valuable too. It's hard to say.
And blue buff
I
is
think,
like serviceable for Zed, right?
yeah, I think blue buff is really good on Zed. It's like really close to best in slot. I mean, some people think it is literally best in slot.
Uh-huh.
But I will say like you don't need the Kindred on your board, and you don't have to play Zed necessarily either. But I would say there's the same issue with Zed and Vex basically,
Yeah, except
and
with
that if you're,
Garen, I can then make them into a BoomBot or Divinical.
I guess like yeah, I I guess the way I've been kind of looking at this game, we've been kind of thinking about playing around Boombot, but yeah, you could just like sack Boombot entirely and play Garen and just play Divine That seems really strong. Yeah,
And then with that line, then the investment
you
into
roll for
Vex
Renekton.
makes a lot of sense. With it's not wasted, and then yeah,
Yeah,
5 cost for
and then you
Renekton.
roll for, well, then your blue buff can be either one of them, and then
Yeah,
yeah,
which is
I
just
think
more
I like,
flexible.
yeah, I think hitting Garen this early is like pretty valuable. I like that a lot.
So,
I
which
think
line
I've
do
been
you think
like
has higher EV at this point?
I think you should play the Garen. I've been kind of thinking about like Urgot throughout this entire game, so it's
Yeah,
like kind of hard to do, especially when you're actually playing the game.
yeah.
It's kind of hard to like kind of pivot your game plan at this stage. But I think just sacking Boombot entirely makes a ton of sense.
Okay, so then from here, just drop out of Boombot. And I mean, I guess I could still kind of flex the lines, but
Yeah,
kind of
exactly. Like if you
angle
hit
more.
Urgot, you can still play six Boombot.
Right. Okay.
And Boombot mod is actually considered like the best mod in the game, actually.
Right. Okay. So by default, angle slight, like maybe 60-40 or 70-40, leaning more towards Divinicor's Ed from this spot, but still flexing the 6 Boombot angle if I hit Urgot.
Yeah, so sure Pandora's mentioning it's just like whoever you hit. But I
Okay.
will say like the Kindred for sure does not need to be on your board once you move
Yeah.
these houses to Senna.
Yeah, I realized that after the fact. I think I fixed it next round. Yeah, and the Zed would have actually been better because I wanted Slayer with the Senna anyway.
Yeah, because I mean at this point you don't really need the Kindred or like the Kog'Maw or the Skarner. Like they're all like contributing pretty low amounts, pretty low EV to your board.
Yeah, agreed. At this point, Divinicore is just stronger because I'm playing around more. And I hit the
Yes.
Renekton.
Yeah, because right now you could be like 7 Divinicore with Garen, which is just
Yeah,
or I guess you don't have Vex, but like yeah. I think it's like really hard to see that in game, but
yeah.
that would have been nice.
I was so hard fixed on Urgot that I did not. I was like reviewing it afterwards. And I was like, wait a second. I had a Zed and a Garen.
Yeah.
But this
I don't even think you
guy,
necessarily need Zed in particular. I mean he's good for sure.
uh,
But you could just Divincore mod the Garen himself
oh, right.
or something like that.
Yeah, this guy was taking all of the Vexes and the Chos,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
would have made
Oh yeah, you don't
angling
have
the
Cho'Gath either.
Divinicore line even better.
Yeah, yeah, I forgot you didn't have Cho'Gath either also. But yeah, right now it's like the way your board looks, like the Kog'Maw, Kindred, and Skarner are all contributing like really low amounts for like how much of their board you're taking up. Well, you have the Ergot now, so that's good.
Yeah,
But you still need the other thing,
need the
of
Vex.
course. All right, well, Cho'Gath. Vex is
Or
not like
Chos, yeah.
super important. Going 2 to 3 Executioner is actually extremely low damage increase. I mean, she does give you Divine Core, of course.
Oh, right.
But she's not like super important.
Yeah, I
I guess
forgot.
like you do have the blue buff, but that's kind of what I was saying. Like I kind of like didn't like the blue buff that much at the start, but
Yeah. Would you just play the Garen at this point then, so that at least if when I get Vex, I could get the Boombot onto her? The Garen over Koko?
you don't need Mordekaiser for sure. I think Kobako's like the whole point of Techie is to like reduce your damage taken,
Mm,
but Kobako also just reduces your damage taken as well.
that's true.
So basically, I'm looking at this board, and you need to drop like 2 units for 2 boot bots, right? So it's probably just going to be Morgana and Mordekaiser. I think it's kind of hard to fit Garen in that context.
Yeah.
I mean, this is definitely like pretty unlucky to not have a thing.
So
Yeah, I think if you're playing 6 BoomBot, just this Vex 2 is just like really low value.
yeah. Unless I had Garen to give him BoomBot.
Yeah, that would be really strong if you had that.
It's just so hard to fit everything at 8.
Yeah. Okay, I mean that's good.
Still missing the Cho. At this point,
I do think you could just play like you mentioned, you could play Garen over one of the bruisers, right? Because just like 3 bruiser is whatever.
uh, no, actually reforging it. Yeah, should play the Garen.
Although I guess like okay, so it's hard to fit anyway because you need Cho'Gath in, so you need to drop 2 units either way. I think I would just be rolling
Roll for Cho, yeah.
yeah, like hard rolling for Cho is such a big board spike. Okay, you have him now.
You put the cleaver
I guess yeah,
on.
you just don't. Yeah, I guess you just don't need Kobiko, right? Like this exact board with Garen over Kobiko, and then you can Boombot mod. Your Vex is like really good. I think Cleaver Fiddle is fine.
Yeah, just made a little less, more squishy, but spreads it better.
Yeah, I think he's okay.
Yeah, BoomBot mod on Vex. Yeah.
Yeah, because right now you're just like Kobiko is just 3 bruiser. It's not really anything.
Yeah. Oh, I guess it's whether I need more damage or more. I think my thought process was I have enough damage with 6 BoomBot and Kobuko buys me more time.
Yeah, I mean it's just like you don't. I mean Garen and Kobiko's like a little bit tankier, but Garen also gives himself a big shield as well.
Right. I totally thought I would like place higher in this game.
Is that guy 10 anima?
Yeah.
I see. Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. That's why. I faced 10 anima.
Yeah, Kronos versus Mordekaiser, I think these are fairly equal. Like they both like kind of serve the same purpose. And yeah, I think like the end of this game looks fine given the line we took, but I think yeah, I didn't really think of it either until you mentioned it, but just stacking Boombot entirely I think would have been a nice out in stage 4.
Okay. It
But I
seems
mean,
like,
yeah, I mean if there's 10 anima in the game,
yeah.
you're just yeah.
I mean, if it weren't for the 10 anima, this seems like it should have been able to play for first, I assume.
Yeah. I mean the board is good.
Okay. Yeah, I guess in hindsight, like those 2 games I just showed you were the first 2 games yesterday. It's like 5th and 7th from, I feel like, just kind of unlucky spots, but clearly I still made a lot of mistakes.
Yeah, definitely like avoidable for sure.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. It's helpful. Thank you.
Right, for sure. Yeah, this is fun. So good luck in your future games.
All right. Talk to you later.
See ya.